Hello Buttercup, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we're just going to talk about burnout and pen names and other writing updates. But first, I do want to talk about the elephant in the room. I did get a haircut. But not for the reason you're thinking. I did not have that type of existential crisis. I didn't break up with my husband or anything like that, okay? Yeah, I guess like the assumption if you do a big change with your hair, then you're going through a breakup, an existential crisis, you got fired from your job, something like that. No. not this time. This time, it was that I was looking like Lady Godiva, minus the blonde hair, and I was overheating, and I'm not joking. You could sometimes see in certain videos beforehand that I would be getting redder. This, I always have a little red right here, so I don't need to spend money on blush. Positive. Also, because if I wear red, my face gets a little red. But I mean, like, before, when I had the really long hair, I was getting extra red because I was overheating myself because Lady Godiva hair all the way down, you know, pushing my lower back. It was too much. And I was spending so much on product to barely get any waves, and it was usually just poofy. I was like, this is ugly. So I went to my hairstylist, cut off like 6 or 7 or 8. It was a lot. Just cut off a lot. And this is the result. This is my wavy hair with a diffuser and a bunch of products, and I don't have a diffuser, so you know, this might not be seen again for quite some time, and I'm not going to get a diffuser and a hair dryer, but just know I'm not having like a big crisis or anything like that as to why I cut my hair. It's for practical reasons, not because I'm having a mental breakdown. When I have a mental breakdown, y'all would know. No. Now, jumping into the actual topic, I did want to put that out there because it's a significant cut, okay? I'm just saying. But jumping into what we're actually talking about today is writer burnout and pen names and other bookish updates. I'm going to first off just start with the burnout. Yeah, I burned myself out. Yes, I did. I have 3 jobs. I'm also dealing with some personal stuff. Not existential stuff, but just like a lot going on. And one of the 3 jobs is writing. That can take a lot, especially what I was doing was every single day, because I enjoy writing, but then that when you are working as a small business and it's not just a hobby and trying to get to scale into a small business, marketing, including getting the accounting correct and all that stuff, it's a lot. It's a lot. I had a little bit of a breakdown in ad school, Brian Cohen's ad school to be exact, of which I am part of. And no, this is not a paid sponsor. He doesn't do that. they like, the school doesn't pay for people to talk nicely about them. It just happens. Now, why does it happen? So I posted in their in the group saying that big things are happening. I'm stressed beyond control at this point, and I have this urban fantasy series, and everyone's telling me that it needs to be a great book launch and you need to make a lot of money in this genre or else you're going to fail, and you don't want that, so you need to drop hundreds if not thousands of dollars on this one book, even though I don't have the other book written. And it was damn well ridiculous. And I was like, wait, why did I go to other people that are telling me wrong? What? Like, and in a mean way too. Lesson learned. I'm just going to ask the ad school. Why I didn't do that before is silly. I think probably because I was panicking and I was trying to talk to multiple people. Don't do that. I learned. I'm not going to do that ever again, because the people that I asked about, you know, specifically book launches for urban fantasy were mean. And you know who you are. I have like a huge multi-paragraph post. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I need to like calm down, but I can't calm down. Like, what am I doing with my life? Yeah, that's the type of mental breakdown I'm talking about. And everyone was so supportive and kind and understanding. And 2 specific ad squad members, which would, I'm just gonna say writing coaches, reached out, and they were like, come to this particular live stream with a Kiwi writer, and she's gonna break down stuff for you. She's gonna talk it out with you. And so I did, and it was absolutely amazing. It was 2 hours, and it did, like, our conversation didn't take up 2 hours, but probably like 45 minutes out of the 2-hour live stream. And I was and am still incredibly grateful, because she looked at me and she said, you need a break. You need a break, or you're going to burn out, and then we're not going to see you for 6 months or something. You're doing too much. You need to, you know, take a step back and breathe, because I can tell you're not breathing right now. You're just so stressed out. And I'm like, yes, I'm so stressed out. Yeah, I was doing too much. And I was doing it 7 days a week instead of what I have shared with her. I'm going to share with you Monday through Friday, and only a couple hours on Saturday and Sunday. And actually even like Friday night, like 5 p.m. onwards, nothing. I'm not getting on my computer. I'm not doing ads. I'm not looking at promotions stacking. I'm not reading articles about anything. No more. And then she also said, that's fantastic, and I think you need a break. When is your book coming back from your editor? And I said, May 8th-ish. And she said, oh, okay, yeah. You're going to take a break until May 8th. And then May 11th, come back to me, and we're going to talk about book launches and how to organize a little better so you don't burn out. And I said, okay, you got to give it to me straight. I have an inkling, but you need to tell me, like, better to do it now. Do I need a pen name for the urban fantasy series? Because I have 3 series in mind just for urban fantasy, and that's not even if I extend the Midnight Detective Agency from 6 books. So like 6 books for that, another 3 books for this one over here, and then another 3 books for another, but they're all interconnected, right? But if the Midnight Detective Agency becomes popular, then I can extend that for as long as possible. So let's just say 15 to 20 books in just urban fantasy. And she said, you need a pen name, because the algorithms on Amazon, they're gonna be confused as hell, especially if you have written poetry and historical stuff, you know, these things, and they're, you know, and they're here, and it's doing well enough. It's still an uphill battle, I'm gonna tell you, because I mix poetry and this, but I'm not separating those because I'm looking forward. Also, because that's what people know me as, historical and poetry. So we're done with Nicole Pierman, that's my name. And she said, you're writing a lot of urban fantasy. Get another pen name. And I start freaking out, but I needed to hear it. I needed to hear it. And I said, okay. So like, how much work is that? Because I tried it before, and more like nasty people were like, you need 2 bank accounts, you need 2 websites, you need 2 domain names, you need 2 completely different Amazon accounts, or else you're going to get into trouble. Going on and on and on. And I was like, okay, yeah. And so like I did some of it, and they were like, why did you do it that way? It needs to be done this way. You're doing the pen name wrong. You need to start again, because that is incorrect. And that's when I said, I'm done. And that was about, what, 4 years ago? No, yeah, that's why I didn't separate the poetry with the 3 standalone novels. Of which people were like, yeah, you probably should. And then they got nastier and nastier the more I was like trying to figure it out. Yeah, I'm not doing that, because you're making me have a mental breakdown. Yes. Yeah. That was like a freak out 4 years ago. So I just put poetry and the 3 standalones together, and those are 7 books under my name, Nicole Pierman. So then she said, because she was seeing me panic. She was seeing the panic come inward, and then we were like, it settles a little bit, and we go, oh my God. She's like, no. I'm here for you May 11th and onwards, and just all the time. And I was like, okay, so it's not as bad as what I've been told. And she said, absolutely not. It's like, you're gonna hold my hand, right? Because I have some feelings. And also, like, what do I do? Because I was freaked out so much that, like, it can't touch whatsoever when I was doing it, 4 years ago. And it was like anytime I like slightly went over of the line of the pen name and the real name not touching, people like said I was stupid and like freaked out on me and like, how can you not pick this up? I was hanging out with some bad people. Okay, but that ruined pen names and setting up pen names, and I realized I can have a website, but on MailerLite, for example, you can segment people and put them into groups, so I can have the people that are for poetry and historical writings, and then a urban fantasy section, but they'll, when you go to my website, you can choose to be in both or just one or the other, because yay, technology. It's even come that far from 4 years ago. And then, in Amazon KDP, you can add yourself or your pen name as a contributor. So you're connected, but it's not under one name, which would be Nicole Pierman, and have the algorithms so confused that, yeah, it would be an extremely bad uphill battle that I might not ever get out of, because I put all of that together. And then basically I would have, with 15, 20 books and even more whenever doing urban fantasy, the other 7 works that I put my heart, blood, soul, tears, caffeine into are just going to float to the very bottom, and no one's gonna know about them, because it's taken over, if the algorithm even understands that urban fantasy is now a main genre of mine under this particular name, and I don't want that to happen. And there was another Ad Squad member that said, it's perfectly, and this was before I asked that other writing coach, this other one said, you can have 2, it's perfectly fine. Like, maybe in 3 years or 5 years, you want to write another poetry book or historical fiction novel. You don't know. Never say never, right? But you should separate. That's like a recommendation. I was like, okay, yeah. For some reason that didn't connect. Probably because that was before I was having a little issue. But it really solidified for me talking to the Kiwi writing coach, because there was so much care involved, and she was like, oh, thank you for being here because you move stuff around. I'm like, no, you move stuff around. Okay, we're moving stuff around for each other, but thank you so much. Thank you. Like, I'm here for you and you're here for me, and this is amazing. And then like all the other people that are listening, and they're also learning about pen names and burnout. So it was a very productive day. Stayed up until like 11 because of the time differences, but absolutely worth it. And I'm telling you all, pen names are not as scary as they once were. Even 4 years ago, the technology has gotten way better. Burnout is real. Maybe you can't or you don't want to do Monday through Friday type of schedule and then take off weekends no matter what. Maybe like you take off Monday or Tuesday, or maybe it's a Tuesday and Thursday, whatever it is, but you need to take off at least 2 days, I'm telling you. or else you're going to get to the point where you're burned out and you don't want to do anything. Like, I'm at a stress level right now still. I still need to decompress, but we're almost there. Where it's been a month and a half. I'm so stressed out, I can't write. But writing that's the whole point. Writing and having fun with it. I'm not there because I stressed myself out so much. I've overworked myself so much that now I need to give myself permission and grace and patience to take off until May 11th when I, come back in to that live stream session. How do you do a pen name but also have a main name that people, some of them, not all of them, are going to want to read and know about that urban fantasy pen name, especially the super fans. I know who you are. I know you want to read all my stuff. And that was one of the concerns, but she was like, no, you can connect them but not have them be the same. And I'm like, mind blown. Does that completely make... I still don't completely understand it fully, but I can see in the Amazon KDP dashboard when you see author and then the contributor, that's where you're going to do all the fancy stuff with that. And then also there's another writing coach that is amazing with MailerLite, and she does segmenting and grouping out as well. And so I'm going to work with her and just get the down low because it's complicated. I'm trying to look at it as a positive thing where I don't have thousands of subscribers. So I'm not trying to do this with 5,000 subscribers. I'm trying to do this with a couple hundred subscribers to my website and my newsletter. I would feel like it would be more of a disaster if I accidentally, did something wrong with a few thousand or like 10,000 or something like that than a few hundred. Fixing things that I have done wrong and adding things that need to be done for everything to make sense and flow well and not get a, like, was it a 404 not found error? Better to do that when I have a couple hundred, because that would be a disaster if I had like hundreds if not thousands of people emailing me saying, what are you doing? Stop. Maybe like 5 people like, what are you doing? And then that's easier to explain to 5 people versus hundreds or thousands. I can see that in my head right now, and that's anxiety inducing. So yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'm trying to look at it also in a positive way. But I know my new pen name. It's going to be the first name, my first name, but the last name is different. However, I think that you will all understand why I chose the last name for the pen name, and it's a good connection because you know that about me, and then so it would be, first name, same first name, and then the last name is my favorite animal. So there is a connection there, and I think it would be a bit easier to remember, and I'm excited about that. I just am nervous about doing all of, it's actually not, I'm thinking, I have to unlearn the bad advice and the nasty and the rude advice and the nasty and rude words from people from 4 years ago, and I need to replace that with the nice and supportive and kind words from the ad school, and saying, no, it's not actually difficult if you have super fans or you have a reader crossover from your name right now to your urban fantasy. We can do that, but it can also be separate so the algorithm knows what the hell is going on and you can have a better chance at being successful in the urban fantasy sphere within the Amazon algorithm for people that are looking for urban fantasy. And you're also not going to, not really shadow ban, but like have the other 7 books that you've worked really hard on completely disappear because it's been flooded out by the urban fantasy novels that you have planned. And so that is where I'm at right now. I am hoping, maybe sometime later May that I get into finishing, no, I'm not even going to say finishing, just writing my second book in the Midnight Detective Agency book series. I'm at 12,000 words. So it's not like I don't have anything going for myself. It's just that I was so stressed out. I could not even write a couple words down without just feeling like crap. So I am still on pause after a month or month and a half, whatever it is. And I also am not going to do anything big regarding my writing. Just small things. Actually, she said 1 small thing a day. That's all you're going to give yourself. And so I already did the small thing. And that was deciding on a pen name. And then collecting articles and videos on segments and groups and how to do that on MailerLite, and also what my pen name is. So I did that within 3 days. 1 thing per day. 1 thing per day. There you go. I miscalculated that. And I feel better already. I'm still a little tense. This is also a good time for me to catch up on reading for fun, and I need to do that a little bit more. So I joined a horror read-along for Thigh Gap. Actually, I kind of started it, and we're going to do that, and then I'm going to reread Dead Inside by Chandler Morrison with them because they haven't read it, but I'm like one of the few people that actually want to reread it or just read it in general, so I'll go with it. It's not a big book anyway. And I think there's some other, fun book stuff coming up, and I'm really excited for that because I need to read even more than what I am reading. When you say, Nicole, you're at like 35 books out of 70, and it's the beginning of May, what do you mean? I read fast. Especially with the library books, I'm reading really fast. I'm just, give me it. And there are some that like I'm DNFing, and it feels good to DNF a book that you don't like. So, takeaway from all of this is, off the top of my head, schedule yourself and don't overschedule, or else you're going to burn out. And that means taking breaks. Like, you need full days off, multiple full days off per week. It's okay to do a pen name, and it's not as difficult as it was before. Thank you, technology. And you want to have some fun, join a book club. Also, lastly, if you don't like a book, DNF it. Yep. And join a library too. Get a library card and do that. And then, like, if you don't like a book from the library, DNF it. Doesn't even matter. Just DNF that stuff. Like, live your life. You don't need to read a book that you're not loving. Go for it. It's for your mental health, for real. So that is my update for May. I will do another video after May 11th, or, I'll probably post it like the end of May or beginning of June, because I do need to sort out with the writing coach what needs to be done. There's just 2 main things, the website and then figuring out Amazon, KDP, publishing. So that's not as bad as what I thought it was, but it's still going to be a lot for me personally because I'm already overwhelmed. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. I'm on my break though. So if you need a reminder, take a break. Do some self-care, whatever that means for you. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.